All right, good morning. We are here with Helen Bartlett, a national award-winning home stager and home stylist. Helen has been staging homes in the metro Kansas City area in both Kansas and Missouri since 2011. She has been awarded several national home staging awards, including the top 10 professional home stagers in the United States for vacant homes, owner-occupied homes, and redesign work. In 2013, she received the Top 10 Rising Star Award for home stagers in North America. Helen has been awarded several years of service awards, as well as being featured on local television in her local area, newspaper, as well as Kansas City Home and Styles magazine. Helen Bartlett recently co-authored a home staging book called Home Staging: The Power That Sells Real Estate. Well, Helen, I want to thank you for your time and coming on our show today. I know you're a busy woman. We've been trying to get together for a while now. And Helen, let's start off. What is your ideal customer look like?
Actually, I think my ideal client is somebody who actually is open-minded about getting a large return on their investment of home staging. They value and appreciate the information you give. This is a really hard business to be in, where I am basically a stranger to a lot of my clients before I meet them, and I have to go into their home and tell them to change the way they've lived for many, many years. So my ideal client is actually somebody who is open to new ideas and who values and appreciates the information that they get, because in the end, it's going to really elevate their profit on their home, as well as the time that it takes to sell their home.
So what is the biggest pitfall, I guess, or objective that you deal with when you talk to a seller about home staging and how it brings value to the sale of their home?
I think their biggest concern, honestly, is that a lot of people don't want to spend money on a home that they're selling. They don't see the value in it. They want to take their money and invest it in their new home or wherever they're going to. But it's part of my job is to help educate the consumer and the homeowner or a real estate agent and let them know that what they invest in their home to help stage it and prepare it to put on the market is really going to be a great return for them. I mean, buyers today are very sophisticated. They don't want necessarily fixer-uppers unless they're paying bottom line for it. And so if a homeowner is real serious about getting top dollar for their home, they have to be open to looking at ways to make it more appealing to their demographic buyer. It no longer has to appeal to them the way they've lived for so many years in it, but it really has to focus on who that buyer is and the trends that that buyer is looking for. Staging is really a marketing job, and we are marketing to the buyer. So that's hard for some sellers to understand why they have to change anything when it was fine for them or it worked for them. They just don't want to hear that. So I would say that's one of the biggest objections and biggest concerns that they would have, is that they just don't want to do that. And my job is to help them understand that anything they invest into home staging, hopefully they are all great choices and they will get a great return on their dollar.
Okay. Yeah, I would imagine that would be, if I was a seller, I would be looking at that same thing. It's like, how is this going to benefit me?
Right. Well, what I try to explain to them too is simple improvements like just outdated or torn or stained carpeting. What happens when a buyer comes into a home that carpeting looks really bad or dirty and they know in their minds it has to be replaced? Buyers typically calculate in their heads 3 to 5 times the actual cost. So let's just say a homeowner could replace their carpeting for $1,000 and get something, standard, maybe at a local box store or whatever. If they can spend $1,000 on it, the actual cost, in a buyer's mind, when they think that they have to replace it, they're going to think it's anywhere from $3,000 to $5,000 or even more. And in their minds, that comes off what they would even consider offering the homeowner. So the homeowner is much better off making these improvements because a buyer's going to calculate so much more and take it off what they would consider offering them. So, when a home is considered move-in ready, this is another thing that we try to let homeowners know. When a home is considered move-in ready, so the carpet looks good, it doesn't need to be replaced, the paint colors have been updated, or they're neutral, or anybody can live with it. When a home feels move-in ready, a buyer is willing to pay more for that. They don't want to have a home that they have to come in with a family and their busy lives and start juggling around, getting contractors in to change things and improve things. They want it done. And when it is done, they're willing to pay for that.
Right. Yeah, I understand that. So, why don't you tell us about the book? That's exciting. Co-author.
Co-author, yes.
Yeah, co-author. So that's
yes,
exciting.
This is exciting. This just came out a couple of days ago, actually on Cyber Monday. And it is a book on home staging. It's called Home Staging, The Power That Sells Real Estate. I, along with 14 other co-authors from North America, several in Canada, several in the United States here, we put together this great guide for any homeowner, any real estate agent, or anyone actually thinking about a career in home staging, because there's so much great information in here. A lot of stuff that I've learned through trial and error over years, and this is a great guide to help anyone know what to do and how to maximize the profit on selling their home. It's a wonderful book. It goes through every stage. The chapter I did, what we all did was we each took a chapter, and my chapter was specifically on owner-occupied homes. But it covers a wide variety of home staging avenues, such as vacant homes, and if you're doing renovations, where's the best place to invest your money. Also, staging to stay, which is a business that a lot of people don't think we do. It's actually decorating or design work for people who want to stay in their homes, but they want it to feel better. They want it to work better and have a better flow and feel. And a lot of times people moving into a new home, they can't make their old furniture work from another house, the previous house. So they call us in to basically stage their new house. So, but it's a great book. Like I said, it covers everything, even what happens when you stage a home that doesn't sell. Why didn't it sell? I mean, that comes up once in a while too. And like I said, it's a great book. Just came out if anybody's interested.
Yeah, awesome. Well, before we get done here, we'll definitely allow you to share where they can get this book, and I'll also share the link or the website that they can get access to at the end of the segment as well. So I bet that that book in itself would be a great asset to real estate professionals too, to get their hands on, because of the fact that that's part of the protocol. When they list a property, they have to educate the seller on what needs to get out of there because of clutter and things of that nature.
Right.
So
absolutely. And this will help them. I mean, I have a lot of real estate agents who use me as, for lack of a better word, the bad cop, because they have the relationship with the homeowner.
Right.
They don't want to be the one insulting them. And it's not that I'm insulting them, but sometimes harsh reality is you have to tell them to pack away family pictures. You have to tell them to put away their collections. You have to tell them that their furniture is dated or, just not right. And with a real estate agent, they have that relationship with the homeowner, and they want that to continue.
Right. I don't want to hurt any feelings.
Yeah, absolutely. And to me, I think real estate agents seem more professional when they have a team with them that works with them. So they have a stager that works on their team, and the stager is the one who deals with these issues directly. They have a photographer. They have their team. And to me, any real estate agent who is promoting home staging is doing their homeowners the best service, because home staging really is marketing. And to me, I would want a real estate agent that's doing everything they can to market my home and to sell it quickly and to get top dollar. And I'm just part of that. I'm just part of the equation. So.
Right. So can you go into detail a little bit about, the packages that you provide and services? Why don't you take us through that?
Sure. Well, I do both owner-occupied and vacant home staging. So with owner-occupied, I charge an hourly fee to go into someone's home and basically work with what they have. I call it editing what they have, because what happens is most homeowners end up with more stuff than they even realize. And a lot of homes can be staged with what they have in their home already. It's just a matter of editing and getting rid of things that detract from the house itself. I think what people don't understand, even like people who say, my home has been professionally decorated, it's beautiful, I don't need to have it staged. And the thing is, decorating is very different than staging. Decorating is about walking into a house and learning something about that person, looking to see where they've traveled, what their family looks like. They have all the personal things that are important to them out. So you kind of get a little story about that homeowner. Staging, on the other hand, is when you walk into a house and you can focus on the architectural features. You can look at the size of the rooms. You can look at the space. So staging is not about the stuff. It's about the house itself. And my job is to make those details stand out, to create a good flow of traffic through the home. That's something that's really important to buyers. They want to be able to navigate and get through the home without feeling blocked or interrupted. Also making sure that everything in there really focuses on the purpose of the room. Every room should have a purpose. We go into a lot of homes where people have thrown toys in a room and a treadmill and maybe a desk in the corner, and a buyer would be confused walking in there. Right. So my job as a home stager is to show purpose for each space, and I can do that with whatever the homeowner has, and sometimes it's just a matter of editing and removing some of the things and maybe rearranging their furniture, maybe hanging art in different places, moving things around. I like to go through the entire home to see all the things that I'm working with, because there might be some great thing up in the bedroom that would be a better focal point in a main living area. Typically when buyers go into a home, they actually know within 15 seconds whether or not that home is one that's going to work for them. So my goal is really that first 15 seconds, I want a buyer to walk in and say, yeah, this is it. This is my home. And they know that. They know that there's some emotional connection that they make. And that happens often in owner-occupied homes using their own things. So for that service, I actually just charge typically by the hour, unless there's something that they need to be brought in, new towels or bedding or something like that. Typically the homeowner would pay for that themselves because that's stuff that they would end up keeping.
Gotcha.
So the other type of home staging I do is what we call vacant home staging, and that's when a home is completely vacant, whether somebody moved their things out of it or it's new construction or a new flip. In that case, what I do is I go in and I assess again that first 15 seconds. What's a buyer going to see? And I want to be sure to stage those rooms. So I provide the furniture, the art, the accessories, rugs, anything that I would need to make that home complete. And I typically don't do an entire vacant home. I typically just do those first 15 seconds, that first impression area. But a lot of times if a home is open concept, that pretty much includes the whole first floor. So it would be like the living room, dining room, kitchen, family room, and occasionally the master bedroom. The only other rooms that I would address would be anything that a buyer would feel would be some kind of challenge. Maybe the room looks too small, or if it's too big. I mean, people don't know what to do with a space that's too big.
Right.
If there's too many windows or there's an awkward layout, something that a buyer would come in and it's an important enough room where they would say, I don't know what to do with this, or I don't know how to make this work. So I would go ahead and stage that space as well. But typically, like I said, it's a living room, dining room, kitchen, family room, and any other space that's awkward or challenging. So for vacant homes, I wish I could give you a price. People ask all the time.
Yeah.
I know the industry standard throughout the country, and here we are in the Midwest, so things are a little bit slower and not as aggressive as maybe the East or West Coast. But I know I've heard throughout the country, typically the cost of staging is anywhere from 1% to 3% of the list price. So
wow. Okay.
that's kind of a guide for people to go on. It's not necessarily always that much or whatever, but it's something to kind of give you a guideline. We get calls from people who will say, I'd like my house staged and, I've got $500 to spend. And that is almost unrealistic, to do. So I, just to put it out there to let people know it is an investment, but what people don't understand is it's not just about the money you put out for home staging. The investment in home staging also should take into consideration the fact that your home is going to sell quicker, so you no longer have those monthly carrying fees, which could include a mortgage, taxes, insurance, utilities, and that's something that people don't generally think about when they think about paying for home staging. If it sells quicker, your overall costs are going to be much, much less. So.
Right. Yeah, good to know. Why don't you share an example of how you helped out recent seller? You share a story with us?
Sure. I staged a home for an investor that I work with a lot. Actually, I work with him a lot now, but this was a couple of years ago, and I will always remember this. I staged one home for him. It sold very, very quickly, but he had another home on the market that he didn't tell me about until after we had such great results with the first one. He had a home on the market. It was in an older part of Kansas City, and we've got some great old neighborhoods here with these really cool old homes. And I've lived in an old home my whole life, so I know they're quirky and odd, and they've got these interesting spaces that are challenging. So he had this home that he had flipped, and the entire upstairs was one big open space, but the stairway came right up into the middle of it. So you had like small sections all around it. And he said he had many, many showings on that house. I think he had on the market for like 30 days at that point, and he probably 60 showings because the neighborhood was desirable, the style of the house was charming, but this master bedroom upstairs, which he opened up this whole floor space with the stairs coming right up in the middle, people did not know what to do with it.
Oh, wow.
So he asked me if I could stage this house for him, and I remember I went up there too, and it took me a few minutes to think about it and think about how I could really maximize this space because it was so odd and it was so quirky.
Yeah.
But it was big. It was the whole length of the house. And so what I did was I created 4 different zones in this one space. One where the bed was for sleeping, a little sitting area where you could watch TV. One area was, I put a desk in and a chair so if somebody had a home office or a business at home, they would have space to work. Mm-hmm. And then another area where there were dressers. And it actually came out beautifully. And I remember I finished staging that, and it was shown about an hour after I staged it. And that person ended up buying it because absolutely fell in love with that upstairs bedroom. And that was the whole point. His consistent feedback before it was staged was nobody knew what to do with it. And the first person to see it after it was staged and creating these zones and all these different spaces, they absolutely fell in love with it. They had a home business, so they loved the idea of a desk up there. They just loved it. And that was, to me, a great success story because that's part of what we do. We show buyers the purpose of the space. When somebody doesn't know how to make it work, there it is. And it helps buyers. Buyers are more comfortable making good offers on homes when they know it's going to work for them. So.
Right. Yeah, that is a great story. Thanks for sharing that with us because, the average person that doesn't do this every day doesn't really understand the value of what magic that you can bring to the table. Let me ask you another question. What areas do you service? Are you just strictly in the Kansas City area or do you have bag will travel?
Well, I will travel up to, I do the whole Kansas City area, both sides of the state line, Kansas City, Missouri, and of course all the suburbs. I've probably gone, the most I've gone is probably about an hour outside of the city. And after that, it becomes less cost effective for me to do it rather than somebody else because, when I have a truck full of movers and they're charging by the hour to drive and to deliver and unpack, the cost of, that delivery, that pickup and delivery fee gets to be pretty high, and I then become non-competitive with my pricing. So after about an hour, it really makes sense to find somebody else or to refer it out. So
Gotcha. Okay. Well, that's good to know. I appreciate you taking the time again with us, Helen. And before we go, share with the listeners how to get access to that awesome book and how to get access to your website and other helpful
information. Thank you very much, Jim. I appreciate that. Yeah, the
Sure.
book is actually available on Amazon.com. However, since there were 15 of us who participated in it, we have the same book with 15 different regionalized covers. So if anybody is interested in my cover book specifically, You can certainly reach out to me. You can email me and I can get it to you directly. And you can reach me through my website, which is www.kansascityhomestagers.com, or you can email me at Helen, Helen, at kchomestagers.com. And I can get you that and certainly sign it to you or autograph it or whatever. Or send it
Awesome.
please, so it's worth more, probably.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, thanks
Yeah.
again, Helen.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
we're going to put that information down below so our listeners can get access to it as well. So again,
Thank you,
thanks
Jim.
so much. You're a sweetheart, and I appreciate you taking the time out today to talk to us and share your education and your knowledge and value as well. Okay.
I appreciate your time as well. Thank you,
Hey,
Jim.
no problem. Thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye.